And now live from the Jefferson Street studio in Katanning, Pennsylvania, it's time for the Sports Zone here on AM 1380 WTYM and Family Life TV. Hello and welcome. I am John Buffone. I will be your captain for this evening. We got a great show on deck for you. On the phone right now, I have Frank Nagy. He is a basketball coach at West Shamokin, but the reason he is on the show tonight is because he is the nephew of the late Frank Brochetti, who will be posthumously inducted into the Armstrong County Hall of Fame on April 29th. Frank, how are we doing this evening?
I'm good. How you doing, John?
I can't complain. Thank you for being with us tonight. I think it's going to be most enjoyable.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, for people that don't really know the story behind your uncle, he went to Shannock Valley High School from Yatesboro, PA, one of those small little areas around the Rural Valley area, but it's not technically Rural Valley. Can you tell us a little bit about what he did at Shannock Valley as far from a sports point of view?
Right. Yeah, from Shannock Valley, he was actually a three-sport letterman. He played football, basketball, and baseball. Very active in those. And actually, his senior year, he was awarded the Shannock Valley High School Outstanding Senior Athlete, and that was in 1969. So he was definitely involved in multiple sports while in high school, and was a standout during that time.
Yeah, he seemed to be Mr. Sports of the the 1960s, a starting quarterback and safety on the football team, an infielder on the baseball team, guard on the basketball team, which is a very successful program for Shannock Valley back in the 60s. Now, after he graduated, he did go to IUP for a year and played freshman football. But after that, about a year into that, he decided to enlist in the Army, and that was in the midst of the Vietnam conflict.
Right.
What do you think went through his mind? What do you think drove him to say, what I'm doing right now can be put on hold? I'm going to go join the service.
Right. When he was a freshman in IUP, his older brother John Brochetti, who was actually already in the Sports Hall of Fame,
Mm-hmm.
he's my uncle, and he was actually a senior on the IUP football team at the same time. So it's kind of neat that they were on the the college football roster together. Frank's freshman year. I think that was a strong motivation factor for IUP as well, and I think he realized college just wasn't for him. You and I both know college isn't for everybody,
Right.
and I think he realized that after his freshman year, and like you said, eventually enlisted into the Vietnam War.
Yeah, and he was deployed shortly after he enlisted. Now, the very sad and tragic part about it is about 120 days before the conflict in Vietnam was over for the United States, he was killed in action. That I believe in 1972. Is that correct?
Yes, that is April 8th, 1972.
Yeah, he was killed in combat. I believe I don't know all the details. I believe it was by the Nuba Den Mountains. What I'm reading off of my notes right here.
Correct.
Killed in combat. Now you didn't actually get to ever meet him because he died before you were born. How was he described to you when you were growing up from older family? How did people describe him to you?
Right, and that's the beauty of it. He comes from a very large family. And, like I said, he has an older brother. So if I talk to my Uncle John, I'm going to get a different, kind of a different story than if I were to talk to my mother, who was much younger than him. That's kind of the neat thing.
Yeah.
But the thing is that they all have, a common denominator. From my impression, he's remembered, obviously with a lot of pride and sorrow as any, 20-year-old man would be. But, he was well liked by everybody. Just a genuinely nice person. That was a big thing. Came from a good family. There's actually still a few guys who that served with Frank who still come and visit the family every 6 months or so. I know that they exchange emails regularly with the family, which to me, just makes the realization that his life being cut short is just that much tougher to grasp. That many people are still in the family's life because of him. Not just I, but my family wonders, what kind of guy would he be now? Who would he have married from around the area? What kind of occupation? How many more cousins would I have? How it could impact my life is something you continuously think about when you think of him. So, even though he was there for 20 short years, it appears that he was definitely a big blessing to my family.
Yeah, and exactly what you said. Life cut way short at only 20 years old whenever he was killed in combat. And just think, it's hard to think about sometimes, but it's also kind of interesting to think about how much your life would be impacted had that not happened. Now, you've been told a lot about his athletic abilities and a lot towards his attitude towards the game. If you had to, and just from what you were told and how he was described to you, why do you think he's being inducted into the Armstrong County Sports Hall of Fame right now? What would be your best reason? I'm sure there's a number of reasons. What would probably stand out for you?
I think not only was he an outstanding high school athlete, obviously probably could have had a successful college career, but to me the Hall of Fame, is a mixture. It is for people with a mixture of talents. That's the best thing, is on and off the field. Obviously you can do the works on the field, but the fact that he ultimately gave the largest sacrifice, was a great guy off the field, and seemed to have such a bright future ahead of him. I really think that just his contributions on and off the field, the way he touched everybody around him, the way he was perceived by people, I think that's the biggest reason that he deserves to be in.
Absolutely, and just what you said, it's not just, it's kind of like how you hold yourself, how you handle yourself, as opposed to just like what you do on the field or the court or what have you. It's your overall attitude towards things. Now, as you kind of hinted at before, the Brochetti's very successful, and you're directly related to that family. Very successful sports family. Your cousin Adam, he's going to enter the Armstrong County Hall of Fame this year. Captain Brochetti, I should call him. He's an alumni of the Naval Academy and a member of the Marine Corps. He was a standout football player and wrestler at Katanning. And you said, I believe your grandpa's in it. Is that correct?
Yes, my grandfather was in last year, I believe it was.
Yeah, he was inducted last year. That John, or if anyone knows him, Spy Brochetti, and your other uncle John's also in, correct?
Right.
He was inducted.
That's actually Adam's father.
Yeah, he was inducted, I believe, in 1977. You were a standout athlete at West Shamokin, a three-sport athlete in basketball, baseball, and golf. I believe you played soccer one year, right? Is that correct?
That I did. I put that in there a little bit.
Yeah, just staying as an all-around athlete. Right. What do you think? And a lot of it, I'm sure you can say, is genetics and, just God-given talent. But there's got to be some kind of, attitude in your family that enables you to be so successful on the court, on the field, or what have you. What has always been the attitude towards sports in the family?
Right, and I think that the attitude like that, it comes from my grandfather, John Brochetti, as most people know, but around our area, Spy. You say Spy Brochetti, everybody knows who that is.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a reflection of his strong work ethics that he was. He was in the Marines. He was stationed and worked in the coal mines. Just a hard-nosed guy that could force his ideals down the road to his children and grandchildren. Encouraging the same ideals to everybody. I think that's something that's instilled in the family. Just kind of you get what you earn type of mentality. I think that's something really strong that he forced down, and that the sons were also able to maximize that. And I've even seen that, even though he didn't firsthand raise me. I can even see that as I was growing up in him.
Right, and just to continue on that point a little bit, and we're talking to Frank Nagy. He is the nephew of Frank Brochetti, who's going to be posthumously inducted into the Armstrong County Hall of Fame on April 29th. We're talking about the Brochetti family in general right now. Now, those attributes all are very valuable in the world of sports. How much is that? How much has that just been a life mentality, though? That it's not like it wasn't. Was it necessarily installed for sports, or was it the life lessons that you were brought up with that kind of translated into the area of sports?
Yeah, and that's what's huge. Like I said, it's kind of that mentality that you get back what you put in, and that to me and how it's been perceived, that parallels life. It sounds so simple, but to me it's so true. If you have a strong work ethic, you play by the rules, you stay focused, you're respectful, and to me, it's a competitive drive that you have. I actually just read an article on my cousin Adam, and he has to put it very, very well. Not everything's about winning and losing, But when you're competitive and you learn lessons while winning and losing, that's almost right there. Just the life lessons that you learn playing sports can model you so much better as a person. And, this can be said in sports, education, your career, or wherever. And especially after, recently teaching and coaching, I really realized, these are traits that you should be, portraying to other people. It's not in the moment being frustrated or emotional with the win or loss. It's ultimately what you take out of those situations.
Well, it's obvious that your family's done a good job of handing those down to you. You seem like you got everything really in focus there. Now let's talk about we talked about the attitude and the disposition towards the game and life in general. Let's talk about the tools, the athletic tools here. From what I understand, your Uncle Frank was considered kind of a speedster. How do you compare yourself to him? What do you think some of the attributes, strictly from an athletic standpoint, what do you think that you kind of got from him, just from what you're told?
Right. Well, I would like to add also, in case you didn't make the connection, I guess not really a skill, but I am named after him.
Yeah.
My Uncle Frank. I also chose my jersey number 10, since elementary school. You know this. Yeah,
every sport of any level we've ever played at, you've worn number 10.
Yes, that was his basketball number. That's why I chose that one. But like you said, it's a work ethic. I take personal pride in the fact that you like to think in sports, it's what you do when no one's looking. The mentality I have is if you're going to spend time doing it, do it right, and that's something that I feel has been passed down. So I think a strong work ethic, our competitiveness, that's not just between he and I, but that's something that just runs in our family. It's just everything is competitive, whether you're playing chess or whatever. I was also a scholar athlete recipient my senior year. I got the Dingaling West Shamokin Scholar Athlete. So that's something that we do, that we parallel there. It's weird. We both played our college sport freshman year. I like to imagine people enjoy being around me. I'm personable, but just those different traits, competitive nature, how multiple sports. I like to think that we do have some parallels, even though I never really knew him as a person.
Right, and that kind of is the theme between all your family right now. It just seems like everyone kind of has the same kind of mentality, and it's the best mentality to have towards life and sports in general. I'm going to get you out of here on this. We're talking to Frank Nagy, nephew of Frank Brochetti. He'll be posthumously inducted into the Armstrong County Hall of Fame on April 29th. Frank, just what you feel right now. How much pride, or how do you describe your feelings towards your Uncle Frank being posthumously inducted into the Hall of Fame? Just how do you describe it, and just sum it up, and you're just raw emotion. What do you feel?
I think it's absolutely wonderful. I want to start first saying the fact that we do have an Armstrong County Sports Hall of Fame is great. I've been to it. I was recognized as an honoree when I graduated, and I've been to it a couple other times for my grandpa being inducted. And just the system that they go by, the fact that not just my Uncle Frank, but my family has had success getting in. I think that's awesome, and I think it's long deserved for him to be inducted into this. Like we said, he was so successful in high school. He went on to play a college sport, ultimately gave the largest sacrifice you can give for your country. I definitely think it's something that's been long deserved for him to get in.
Absolutely, and I think you would not be able to find anyone who does not feel the same way. I'd just like to thank you for being on the show. I'd like to thank your family, and obviously we extend our thanks for everything that your family has given, whether it's your cousin Adam, who is still in the service, and your Uncle Frank, who gave the ultimate sacrifice during the Vietnam conflict. Thank you very much for joining the Sports Zone tonight, Frank. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, John.
All right, that was Frank Nagy, nephew of Frank Brochetti. He will be posthumously inducted into the Armstrong County Hall of Fame on April 29th. And his cousin Adam's going to get in this year, too, as well. So a lot of success in that family.